In and out, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. You can hear me now.
We can hear you now.
Yes,
Yes, go ahead, Brian. Talk to us about Polkadot, how you got started, and blockchain education. Let's do it.
yeah. I way back started. I joined the crypto space way back in 2017. By then, I was just trading some crypto for profits, pump and bull runs and bear markets. But after that, that was way back in 2018, where I had to get interest in learning about more Bitcoin and Ethereum blockchain and its relevant use cases in solving the traditional challenges we are having in different industries. Yeah, from there I had to develop the passion to learn about smart contracts, such stuff like the making payments and money remittances using cryptos. So, but then with time, we had to find that Bitcoin had its own challenges, Ethereum had its own challenges, whereby somebody even can't buy a cup of coffee using Ethereum because of the high transaction fees, the issue of scalability. So to me, when I was having some of the meetups way back in 2018, people would ask like, they would see the security level was a bit good with the side of Ethereum. Decentralization was good, but with scalability and transaction fees. So this was a bit technical for the local community to adopt, and even the other developers due to the challenges on the blockchain with Bitcoin, Ethereum, because by then those were the main blockchains we have and we had, and people we are used to. Because now when you talk about cryptocurrencies, most of the people just have to think about Bitcoin and Ethereum. You get it? So that's when I had to learn about Polkadot. I was really interested with the technology because even on that being that Gavin was the co-founder of Ethereum, so I was following way much with Ethereum. It was way back when I joined Eternity. We had hosted some meetups way back of Eternity in Uganda, but learning about Polkadot, it had everything to solve on the blockchain network, and that heterogeneous advantage on the blockchain that it can connect other blockchains. Really had to see that this is a good technology even to introduce all other blockchain communities within East Africa and Uganda, because this is a heterogeneous network whereby even the Tezos community need the technology advantage of Polkadot, the Ethereum community needs the technology side of Polkadot, Bitcoin, let it be chaining, etc. So from there, I had to apply for the ambassador program. Where enough, I started as a candidate. I started with hosting meetups, and I'm really pretty happy that I have even inspired other crypto enthusiasts in the region, and they have even really joined and get onboarded as Polkadot ambassadors in their respective regions. And I can see some progress in my region already. Though currently, right now, we are now targeting on the onboarding developers, because we really have developers and they have nothing like knowledge about building on the blockchain. Because now the passion I got teaching people about blockchain. There is a challenge we had in Uganda whereby we used to have many companies coming in and scamming people's money. So people were confused what Bitcoin is all about. So when you talk about Bitcoin and blockchain, cryptocurrencies, people will immediately understand the other side of scam, bringing your money for the scam. So for us, we are reaching at a point where we want to teach people what blockchain is, what it does, and what it solves. And because now we can see we are moving to a new world on Web3 version whereby, for example, we can own our data. We have that financial sovereignty, that financial inclusivity in Africa, for example. So we are really teaching people the real world use cases on the blockchain. And now that's what I'm trying to target, looking up to developers, teaching them what they can do on blockchain. But some of them seems to be technical, but I'm sure with time, since it's a new technology, they will adopt to the time. And right now I was focusing on starting with these university students who are doing these software programming languages, computer science students, so that they can get involved and learn blockchain from scratch, and they can develop their passion and skills with developing on the blockchain. I personally
Amazing.
am not a person of coding and programming, but I can easily direct them. I guide them what blockchain is and give them an overview. And for technical support, I can forward them to the Polkadot Discord group whereby they can find other developers and engage with them. Let it be the Parity and substrate developers. So really, on the behalf of the Ugandan community, I want to thank Polkadot because it has helped us to spread that awareness. People have learned about what cryptocurrencies are, what blockchain is, and what it can do on the Web3, and more solutions on the blockchain network. I really appreciate much support from the Web3 Foundation.
Amazing.
Oh,
That's amazing.
That's a really cool story. And from where you are now. So I think it's one thing that really caught my ear early is that you mentioned your kind of first discovery into Polkadot was identifying Ethereum gas fees and pretty much identifying the scalability issue of Ethereum, because really, I think that's a shared pain here as well, from my experiences with Ethereum and trying to make things happen. So it's like to find Polkadot and be so focused or be a technology that has such low gas fees that creates such ability to make transactions, and we're not even considering, is it going to cost us, like for us it's $120 USD to make one transaction. Like that's not scalable for anyone who's not like someone with a lot of Ethereum. So that's really cool to hear. That's kind of how the journey started, because that's a problem if you're planning on building and wanting to be a developer in a system that's not scalable.
Yeah, by the way, like additional on that, yes, because I used to get this like a challenge, because I would host a meetup and somebody was like, oh, you're saying that blockchain can solve this and this. Yeah, but then how would I use a transaction, for example, for my day-to-day expenditure, like for payment and remittances, and if I'm to make a transaction of $50, then I have to be charged something like $70 US. That wouldn't be fair. And if you're talking about decentralization and you are not using exchanges like Binance, and we want to use like these AMAs, like these exchanges, like the decentralized exchanges, why would I exchange on an exchange whereby I'm charged high transaction fees, because there are high transaction fees on Uniswap? And the same thing, if it is something which is decentralized, then why is it that there is lack of sharing information from different blockchains? Why is it that information is just shared on the main blockchains? You get that concept. So from there, that's why I was like, I have to get a new technology that had a solution to all these. Way back, I had to find out Zerica blockchain. This is one of the first blockchain that had to operate on the sharded protocol. But leave alone that, operating on the sharded protocol, it has less of features than Polkadot, because Polkadot is having its heterogeneous feature of the blockchain is something which is a big deal on the blockchain. The low transaction fees, the scalability, and that upgradability on the network. So really, this is something that
It's superior.
Superior.
It's a superior technology.
It's a technology which is non-rival to another, but a solution to other blockchains, to other problems on other dominant blockchains. So that's how I picked my passion, had to read about it. Yeah.
Nice.
Really, I had some fun reading about
really
Polkadot. Cool. Yeah, speaking.
It's really cool. You're like, one of the things you're also really helping with is like it's an interesting problem in my mind, where it's developers and talent, because with the being Substrate and Rust and Polkadot and how it's built is also new, that finding people that are able to operate and build inside of that is kind of an issue, because once we start seeing some success, like those builders then become team leaders, and then they're leading organizations, and they don't have time to code. So it's really great to see that you're helping build up that education, because that is definitely there's a need there for sure.
Yeah, sure.
What do you think is the greatest hurdle right now in Africa for like blockchain adoption?
Yes, one of the greatest challenges that are limiting crypto adoption. Could it be related to what you asked?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh, Sincerely, the biggest challenge is lack of awareness and information about what blockchain is all about and what it's doing. Like I said, if I take you back, most people way back in Uganda, for example, we used to hear about a company coming and calling itself Bitcoin. So people would think Bitcoin is like a company. So whereby they would take their money. So when they take their money, these people would use it for their own stuff. So after some later stage, they would disappear. So the people, our community had that bias that
Oh, wow.
had that bias. So, and the available people who can provide information and this knowledge, they charge it at a cost because learning about blockchain, going to another association like some other independent projects, they would charge you a cost to learn about blockchain. So
Oh
that's why
man.
I'm like, I thank the Polkadot community because they are the Web3 Foundation, because they have really funded our meetups and we have really engaged with most of the university students and we have really introduced to them what blockchain is all about, its real world use cases, how it is going to revolutionize everything on the web 2, for example, because blockchain is going to change everything. We are shifting from Web 2 to Web 3. Let it be voting, let it be social media platforms, let it be the way we are trading, everything. So these companies
Yeah.
that are really dominating in Uganda, most of them, or in Africa, they are really not. They are not teaching the real concept about what blockchain is all about. But I'm now happy that people are getting the concept, what is behind blockchain, and how they
Yep.
can even adopt it. And I can see some interest of other developers who are really interested to join and learn more about developing on the blockchain technology as well. So yeah, because
Yeah, I've definitely oh,
because I
I've
personally
definitely seen your sorry. Go ahead.
because I personally, like I said in 2017, I joined crypto when I was like, I want to trade, make money, make profits. So I wasn't interested about the tech part. Yeah, but then later on, I had to find out what it's all about, what it does, and I had to find that the technology behind it and the real world use cases were really awesome. So these were things that could be adopted and would solve our current traditional challenges we are having in every sector in Africa. In every sector, let it be the government, let it be the education sector, everything. Yeah, so that's where
No,
I had to get my passion from.
nice. That's interesting you mention government too, because one of
Hmm.
the Kusama parachains, KILT, with self-sovereign identity, brings an interesting solution to voting. So
Yeah.
using KILT's technology, being able to have control of your identity, but then be able to have 100 uncorruptible free elections, I think is a really
Yeah.
interesting concept of the technology. That's, as you mentioned, most people when they think of blockchain and Bitcoin making money, but it's like solving a lot of corruption in elections in a lot of countries can be just groundbreaking by itself. Do you agree
Yeah.
there?
Yeah, and sure. Let alone that, even if even if I can even talk about even the financial sovereignty, because now if I can talk about there is lack of financial inclusivity in Africa, because whereby want to access a bank account, you have to need a national ID, that lengthy KYC. Leave alone that there is a limited age to own a bank account, and let's leave alone that in case if you have been depositing like 1,000 US dollars and all of a sudden you deposit like 70,000 US dollars, your account has to be put on hold, and they have to have those investigations. Where did you get the money, fraud, such stuff. So you can see that people are lacking financial sovereignty, and people are preferred using mobile money payments, but still these have been highly taxed. They have been highly taxed and making cross-border payments, cross-border receiving money from across. Really, it is really expensive. There is lack of transparency in the charity organizations, lack of transparency in our governments and in other organizations. So, really, I can see blockchain revolutionizing everything in my community.
Definitely.
That's a really great point with like the ability of like just being a wallet owner makes you then in control of control of your money. That's incredibly big.
Something
and I think
the government can't take.
Yeah, we have there's a lot of businesses in the U.S. that have literally created by just living off of the fees of people trying to transfer money home. So when with Bitcoin or using using blockchain, you're suddenly cutting out like 20% of that fee to transfer home. And if people are living and working cross border to provide for their families, 20% should not be a handling fee. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Okay. It's definitely robbery.
Yeah. So really, but right now the growth is not bad because now I can see most communities are adopting the blockchain, and leave alone that I'm having a group of other blockchain enthusiasts. We are coming up with an idea whereby we have already a website which is running now. Halfway running, we want to continue spearheading and teaching people about blockchain and freely teach them what blockchain is all about. And people can really come up with their own ideas, an invasion of ideas. Somebody can be having an idea and is like, oh, let me apply the blockchain technology in agriculture. Let me apply the blockchain technology in insurance. Let me apply the blockchain technology in education, because we are having too much forged document papers, academic documents. We are having too much counterfeits. Even recently in Uganda, there are some people who are vaccinated with some counterfeits of vaccines. You can see lack of authenticity with these traditional organizations. So if you would have something integrating blockchain technology in the linguistic and supply management, such stuff, so it would be something awesome. Leave alone the internet. In Uganda currently, unless you connect a VPN, you can't use Facebook. And this was shut down recently during the previous elections, whereby people were posting things which are related to political. So the president was like, they have to shut down Facebook. So unless you can understand the concept. And now one of the easiest way I can explain to my community, showing them like in a simple layman's language, I can tell them about a VPN, because now previously our people never used the VPNs because they never knew what VPNs were all about. Later on, when governments started to put restriction on some social media platforms, that's when they had to come up to understand what the importance of VPNs. Though we already have decentralized VPNs running on the blockchain, but at least people have understood the concept of VPN. But I'm also sure in the coming future, the freedom we have, the freedom is with the people. So we shall pick up to use the blockchain technology as people use the VPN way back.
Yeah,
that's a really good point. Yeah, with like being able to get access to news, no government should fear the news, because they either need to be helping the people or they're not. And to shut down platforms like that and in the middle of really important moments like elections, that's a really great point.
It definitely is insane to hear about. We don't really expect something like that. And it happens all over the world. And, blockchain technology is definitely, especially something like Polkadot with its governance model and structure, it's really, it gives hope, it definitely gives hope.
Yeah. Polkadot really gives hope, and leave alone that it is solving even most of the challenges that are affecting other prominent, like other blockchains. So really, Polkadot is an awesome technology. Like, I really send in my appreciation to the team behind the subset team, Polkadot, and the Web3 Foundation, because really this is solving most of the challenges that are affecting most of the blockchains. Yeah, sure.
Definitely
and
agree with that.
that's real neat. So with thank you to the Web3 Foundation, because that really does help drive the innovation necessary. As it shouldn't just be the areas that have the capital to spin things up in a moment's notice, but be able to help on the education side and really help build in so that anyone in the world can start being a part of the community. And that doesn't mean just necessarily being the person helping code up a parachain. You can be community managers, you can be just evangelists, just that are speaking the good word of Dot. So that's really great. Could you tell us more about these gatherings and meetups, like how Web3 gets involved, and like what happens at these meetups, how people contact you to join? Can you tell us more about it? So that anyone in the world. Oh, I hear myself.
Oh yes, sure. Like I said, on these meetups, we use the meetup.com page, whereby we post these meetups, and majorly 75% have been engaging with university students, because these are the guys who can easily adopt the technology very fast. Yeah, they are a bit flexible in learning this. So what we usually do, for example, we have a category whereby if I'm to host a meetup in a new area, I just have to start up with an overview about blockchain technology, an overview about the current traditional system on maybe the current traditional internet, and show them the difference between the traditional internet and the Web3, so that they can pick it so that then I can show them what blockchain is all about. And most of them have heard about Bitcoin. I can't leave behind Bitcoin and Ethereum. I show them what Bitcoin is all about, Ethereum, and point out some of the challenges that are affecting these prominent blockchains. Then come up with an introduction to Polkadot, an overview about it, and how it is solving these challenges on these main networks. So from there, we have a session of questions and answers. We usually have topics, because we usually have topics ranging from decentralized finance, on identity on the blockchain, such stuff. So, like, occasionally we have meetups based on some target use cases. Okay, we can say that let's look into how Polkadot is going to change, or is going to be the future of decentralized finance. Yeah, looking about its low transaction fees, its profitability, how the fast transactions are. So that's how we keep the conversations rolling within these different meetups. And for the developers, we usually at the end of the meetup we have to refer them to these different social media channels. Let's see, Telegram, Discord, so that they can keep following the conversations and other updates from the community. Yeah, we direct them to the website so they can keep learning. Those who would be interested could go ahead and read through the different technical documentation or white papers from the site. So for us, we usually have that overview, introduction, engage them,
we lost
answer
him.
their questions they are having. Yeah, so yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
There we go. Sorry, Brian. We were just dealing with a little bit of interruption. I think we had a signal issue on your end coming from your side.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Can you hear us now, Brian?
I can hear you. Well.
Oh, no.
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, no, we lost connection. We'll see if he comes back to kind of give a send off. But man, wow, that was really cool.
Amazing.
Like, what are your thoughts? I could see things turning in your mind, Judge. Let's hear it.
Yes, it was very interesting to say the least, because I've seen his posts on the official Discord through his Twitter, and I honestly, I didn't think that there would be a lot of people, because even in our area here, not a lot of people, talk about Polkadot, Kusama, Substrate, like it's foreign to them. So just seeing how many people he's built up in his community that are coming into this and doing this on his Twitter, it's amazing. I'm highly impressed. His turnouts, sometimes they can be low, but other times it's impressive, and he's reaching more people than a lot of people in the server, in his community.
Yeah. I think we got it back. Brian, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. It was just enough.
All good, all good. Sorry, you probably need to repeat the last about 2 minutes, but let's get your final thoughts and anything else you'd want to let the world know about, and let's hear it. Sorry, go ahead.
My remarks is like we need to teach and create more awareness about the blockchain technology and really show the people the real world use cases with the technology. And like I've been doing, I find it very easy because we really have even that target audience we really target, because not all audiences can easily digest this technology, but I've found that most of the students find it very easy to adopt this, and maybe in the future we can have these beginner lessons, and maybe we can include some of the blockchain courses to these tertiary institutions, universities, so that people can learn them from scratch, like a course, like a learning course, and this will really bring in more. This would bring more adoption and development in the long run, because now people are finding it very hard to adjust to the new technology. They really find it at some point technical. Some of them really find it technical because telling somebody make a transaction using a wallet, copy and paste, this and this, they really find it technical. But at least with the young youth, and especially with starting from the university student, this can be introduced to them at an early stage. And this will even also help create awareness, because what I've been doing when I have a group of people, when I introduce them to blockchain, I have to tell them they have to share with other 100 people about blockchain, because I want to reach out to them. I keep telling them to spread the knowledge. Spread the knowledge from what you have picked from here. If you manage to attend a meetup, somebody, the 4 people you left at home, go and tell them what blockchain is all about and what it can do to change our lives. Yes, that's how. Yes, I'm really happy because I can see a world running on the blockchain will be a fair world in the coming future. Yeah, sure.
That's
awesome.
That's a really good point, because with blockchain, I consider myself a crypto citizen, and I think that's what we see is that it breaks down these barriers, because we in the end we have similar goals, because we want the best things for our families and our children's children, and it's no longer about what border we're behind and who's what flag necessarily we're flying, as much as we want this. We have similar interests, and we're almost like creating a whole kind of one country, and I think that's just so amazing, because in the end, education's we can agree. There's so much we can agree on and grow from. So that's really great to hear.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming. Thank you for stopping in, Brian, and talking about this. This is so great. No, it's been some time coming here, but we're so glad we got you on the show, and we'll have to check in in a few months and see how everything's going. We'd love to hear about projects coming up and the meetups you guys are having, and thank you again.
Yeah, you're most welcome. I reach out my appreciation to the team. Thanks so much for making this happen in Africa. I really much grateful for this. Wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and we expect big things in 2022. And lastly, when I'm on my meetups, I don't really talk about price discussions. I keep it tech related, because that's what we need. It's something
exactly.
The power high, buy less, low. Say no, we keep it tech related.
There's enough of that, right? Yeah, that's what we founded ourselves on. We didn't want to be, making silly faces and getting people to buy or sell, or trying to be a crying shoulder when things go down, or be popping the champagne when it goes up. It's more about the technology and how the world's going to change, because whether the price goes up $5, down $5, it's more important that more people are bringing themselves up financially. More people are smiling because there's less, problems in their life. They're doing more with themselves. So that's really great.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, well,
thank you so much for your time. I think I can leave the studio.
Yep. All right. Well, cheers, Brian. You have a good one.
Thank you, Brian. You've been amazing.
Have nice holidays. Thank you.
You too. Bye-bye. Wow. All right. That was great. Do you hear the birds in the background? I kept hearing it every now and then. I was like, I'm gonna have to.
Kind of made me jealous.
Yeah, right. Like I'm assuming he's sitting there some really nice trees, and just he's got some tropical bird hanging out with him.
Exactly. Just chilling, man. On the outside, it's probably not cold. I don't know. I'm assuming it's not if he's outside. I wouldn't want to be doing an interview outside if it was freezing. So, but it sounded
that
beautiful.
Wouldn't quite make sense.
It sounded beautiful. I know with Brian, he does a lot of stuff for his community. Like, you can just tell going over his Twitter. I was trying to actually find his Twitter, and I cannot find it for the life of me right now. But going over he does a lot of amazing things. I really wish that there was a lot more people like him in other smaller communities that are just spreading the word, spreading the gospel of blockchain. It doesn't necessarily have to be Polkadot. Just the idea behind blockchain and what it represents right now, I think, to a lot of people, with the untapped potential, it's gonna. I mean, obviously, if you know, it's gonna change the world. So Brian obviously sees it, and he's trying to bring it to his community to help bring everyone up. It's not just about himself; it's about everybody. And I think that is kind of like the main emphasis, like we were talking about earlier with blockchain, is that it's for everybody. If it helps one person, it helps us all pretty much. It's going to be, like you said, borders aren't going to really mean a lot financially. Like, I can send, being in the Polkadot community, I've met a lot of international people, especially being on the moderator team. We just recently brought a moderator in from Africa. We have one from Latin America, South America. We have a few mods from Europe, and each of these teams, or each of these people in each of these countries, have different cultures, have different backgrounds, and we're all here supporting each other. With Polkadot. So I think it's just it's done an amazing thing. A lot of people I know feel that the world is disconnected right now. But if you're in the blockchain community, I don't feel that way. I feel connected with my with all my other brothers and sisters who are into crypto. It's not necessarily like we're, like we only see the bad things going on. We see the good things that crypto is bringing, and we see what it's doing for people. And Brian is just one of many examples of just of this technology that's actually going to be life changing. And we're early, so.
No, that's really good. It's overall. So could you clarify real quick? So you said Polkadot mod. For those that have never used Discord or don't understand that statement, could you just elaborate a little more? What does it mean to be a Polkadot moderator?
So Polkadot does have an official Discord, and Discord is just another social media gateway or I guess communication tool. And as a moderator, I pretty much just make sure the server is appropriate, make sure any help that users need with stuff, just
helping inform
out.
The community and helping respond as people start the red pill process of learning about Polkadot and how incredible it is. You're one of those first people on the line to help guide the journey. That's really cool.
Yeah, exactly. And so as a moderator, I've actually interact a lot with the ambassadors. I'm an ambassador myself, so just being able to see, like, it's not just Brian that's doing it for his community either. There's a lot of um, South American communities, there's a lot of Eastern European communities, and it's just crazy because normally you would think like, oh, without like having a common thing with these people, you might be worried about interacting, but because cryptocurrency is borderless, um, I mean, I've developed some interesting relationships that I never in 1,000 years imagined. Like,
Would
hey,
have
I
had.
actually have,
Yeah.
yeah, I have friends from the Netherlands and I have friends from, Africa and Russia. It's crazy.
That is crazy, and that's I think where there's, and I think I've seen a lot of people too talking about like there's a big push with like with the pandemic happening, jobs, people really re-looking at what they're doing, are they happy? And I think like blockchain is an answer for a lot of people for a lot of reasons. And the idea that you're like this community was like, if anything, for a lot of people, the pandemic is create if they were lonely, it definitely got more lonely. Like things got worse in terms of interaction with people, and like with blockchains, communities, NFTs, DAOs, like it creates this like whole other world, and and for a lot of people that's incredibly important. Like this, I'm not going to use any names here, but me and some friends have a mutual friend that we're watching destroy themselves with alcohol, and they've always been kind of bad about it, but like we've noticed like we've literally had to get together and talk about it because we gamed together, and this guy was it's going bad, and it's something where we're seeing eventually the plane's going to crash in terms of him and himself. So we've connected him to a community so that he can start like interacting with people, because he travels a lot. It seems like he has a bit of a self-esteem issue, and then matched with loneliness, he starts to self-deprecate and start to crash his own plane. So we're literally using the blockchain community to help recover him, because we're friends, but like we've tried to help at the same time. We can't we need to find an environment and a community that's going to really help him flourish, because in the end there's things driving him down. And so I think that's just one of the unseen scenarios when people talk about crypto and blockchain. Like as I red pill and talk with people, they're like, oh well, isn't it just ways for people to make illegal payments? And you're like, okay, well you're using such a small percentage negative. You're only noticing the negative, when really on the counter side, it could be saving my buddy's life. And that that could be sounding hyperbolic, but at the same time it's not, because we're literally like, that's the first thing that came to my mind. I was like, this guy needs community, and crypto really creates that community, which is really cool.
It's definitely, it's funny you said that, because last night I was actually reading a study. Funny enough, like I wasn't reading the study. Let me rephrase that. I don't want to confuse anybody.
Did you read?
I read an article that was going over the study, and I did happen to glance over it. It linked to it, but it pretty much said the real pandemic, right, is loneliness, and it's been happening this whole pretty much industrial revolution. As technology has transformed into what it is. We have gotten lonelier, because at the end of the day, like you and me, even though we live in the same city and everything, like we can interact mostly online, and not getting that human element. Like some people are used to not having that human element. It's foreign to them to see someone face to face rather than screen to screen. And so I definitely believe it with this loneliness aspect. It doesn't surprise me. I wouldn't say like I've been in that specific situation, but I've definitely have been there with that loneliness feeling. And it can be hard if you don't have, like you said, that community, even if it's a small community, 5, 10 people, 6 people.
Crypto Twitter alone, you feel more connected. You're like, I'm gonna go say something weird or random, and then like someone agrees with you. That it's interesting, and it's like even if what you're saying is farcical or whatever, at least like you're having that community and that drive. Sorry, I cut you off.
No. Pretty much basic example. When I moved back from Atlanta to San Antonio, I played a lot of Xbox and played Battlefield at the time, of course. And I think the community that I met up with and played with like really helped me kind of get back into the groove, because a lot of my friends, I'm from here, and a lot of my friends had already moved different states, different cities. So just even being part of a video game community at the time was enough to kind of like take a lot of the pressure of being lonely off. And then obviously now as just someone that has traded in the pandemic and gotten into well, I was getting into stocks a little bit before the pandemic, but just that financial community aspect, I think, has really lifted a lot of people up. And I'm not just talking about Polkadot either. I moderate for another server called Stock Market Triad, and it's just, a bunch of friends got together and stuff like that. But during lockdown, back in 2020, it was real tough, and we banded together and we helped each other out. And I think because we all helped each other better our financial situations, it not a lot of friends can say they have done that, right? Like, think about that. Y'all have made thousands and possibly hundreds of thousands together, and I don't know any friends that can say like, oh yeah, we gave each other information and literally financially changed our lives.
You went through tense times together. You went through what could have been, you went through a risk, like what technically like either a risky or a situation where community helped, push you guys through. You had like almost like a unit experience together. I equate it to like when I was wrestling. I was a wrestler in high school and university, and all of my fellow wrestlers on the team, I may not have been best friends with them, but like had this camaraderie, because if you're willing to sweat and work with people and people able to give you a hand up or help you give somebody a hand up and help each other, like you create that community, that bond, and that's really cool.
Exactly. He who bleeds with me now, I forget the full quote, but it's pretty much when I was in the military. Those who bleed with me today will forever be my brother, like pretty much. And that's pretty much what's happened in the pandemic with a lot of these online communities, is that they've all bled together and now they're tight-knit. So
yeah, the pandemic definitely seems to have accelerated blockchain technology almost, because more people are home, more people are figuring out, okay, now's the time. Definitely. And then also, just from, and for me, from like remote connection to people, it's really, just great because, work from home. I'm sure a lot of people are real excited about, and being able to roll out of bed and go to the office. But yeah, let's with some time left, let's go through some news items. You ready to roll through the news?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let me have some stuff pulled up. Did you want to go first, or?
Yeah, I'll go first. I'll jump through a few of my items, then we'll jump on yours. Alrighty. Okay. So this one first caught my eye with the launch of the first 5 parachain auctions. Huge momentous occasion for anybody who's a dot enthusiast, dot holder, even dot and Kusama. This is a big because this is the first 5 auctions being completed, which is as in this article is stating, the achieving the vision of the original white paper that Dr. Gavin Wood wrote in terms of launching the network. So we are officially launched, and this is a moment I feel in a year, 2 years, 5 years, it's going to be that first foundational piece, and it's to launch parachains and get them activated. So this is a moment where major parachains are going to be, the collaboration beginning, shared security, the fact that I don't even think I have the number here, but the amount of money that went locked up into the first 5 parachains is incredible. We had I
think it was 3 billion, if I'm not mistaken.
I think the amount of dot. I think it wasn't it like 50 million dot. I'm probably gonna blow these numbers.
110 million was put in at last when I checked before the first auctions. I want to say it was a little under 110 million. Or no, it was about 109.
We got it here. At least from this article, which I believe is like 3 or 4 days old. Sum of contributions. So we had 35.8 million on Moonbeam, 32.5 million on Akala. Parallel Finance 10.8 million, A Star 10.3, Clover 9.8, and those are our 5 winners there. So we still have more parachains coming, but man, that is something. just the amount of DOT being locked up, and I think that's one of a really undervalued feature or detail about the Polkadot ecosystem, because one of the big fears is, oh, I'm holding a coin that everyone's suddenly going to sell, and I'm going to be the fool holding onto my bag still. So you can get rid of that fear with Polkadot, because as a community, we have all designating our DOT to be locked up. I can't, we can't just go and be like, suddenly, I want my money back suddenly in terms of the crowd loans. You're locked in with so many other people, and you're rewarded. And so it's just the crowd loan mechanism is so new because there's no other blockchain that does this. And so
exactly,
it still seems really foreign. And when you like, well, why would you pick Polkadot? I don't even feel like I should have to say it. You don't have to say that. But like, well, I don't know, crowd loaning. I don't know, shared security. I don't know, blockchains can communicate. I don't know. We could keep going down the list, but just the fact that we're locking up billions of dollars into the network is just incredible. So it's like to see that, this is a pretty cool article. So move on. First five parachains launching, major feat, huge for the Polkadot ecosystem.
It definitely is.
Next article I found was really cool. Is so KILT is a parachain on the Kusama network that is involved in self-sovereign identity and creating social KYC. Announced a partnership with a a gaming company called Attarius Network. I'm gonna take a stretch and assume that the Attarius maybe has to do, or at least sounds similar, because I think there's two T's here. But Atari is a old gaming system that was one of the first like major platforms in terms of console gaming. But
my dad had one.
What really? Yeah, just got in the garage.
Yeah. Obviously, from a long time ago, it's like broken and all that. But like, yeah, he had one. No,
nice. Yeah, I don't know if my dad had. My first system was Nintendo Entertainment System, so it was a little bit after that. But so with Attarius, what the announcement is they're building an all-in-one NFT ecosystem for the gaming industry, and then with KILT using their identity protocol will help kind of build in and allow players to be able to earn their NFTs and gaming rewards and be anonymous but yet verifiable. So they'll be able to set up like be more trustworthy in terms of like setting up and joining DAOs and just overall gameplay being not have to be focused on releasing information about people. It'd be more about, if you want to be an anonymous gamer and be really good at it, you can. So thought that was a really like what this kind of shows too is, if we think about the timeline, Kusama parachain auctions were first. So we see a number of the parachains that were locking in and joining the network, and KILT was one of them. So KILT was the first parachain on the second round. I think they were technically number 6 spot, but I think that they would actually be 7th because of state mine. This we're seeing, they've announced some other partnerships, but I think this is just another one of showing that, hey, once parachains connect to the network and then they start to activate and do their thing, we'll start to see this more and more. So we see different announcements from like Akala working with financial tech systems. I think Current was an announcement they made not too long ago, where they're helping solve the getting crypto in people's portfolio without owning a wallet, because if anyone's talked to their grandfather about crypto, trying to convince them to talk to them about getting a wallet, buying crypto, transferring it, it's a tough sale. But if you're already investing and you have your money, and then suddenly you get a pop-up that says, hey, would you like to add this crypto farming yield to your portfolio? You're one click away from being a crypto citizen. So I really thought this was a cool article, because we're really starting to see the kind of wings open up of KILT, which I think is, as we kind of mentioned, as I mentioned with Brian just a minute ago, about like how KILT could be used to possibly ensure 100% free and fair elections across the world, which is really, And I don't think they were planning that necessarily. As they said, they've kind of, as I've heard in different interviews with Ingo, the founder of KILT Protocol and the CEO of Bot Labs, he even mentioned it. He's like, we didn't have a specific, I'm paraphrasing, we didn't have a specific use case for KILT, but we knew we wanted to help bring identity back to the people. And so allowing that kind of like moldability of their product to be whatever it needs to be. And that's a really cool focus and I like almost theme of the Polkadot environment. Is it's not necessarily to build just have one kind of use case. We'll see it evolve over time and it will become greater as more parts join. So this was really cool to see, because I can't wait for crypto gaming to just completely take over the market, because if people are going to spend their time, like I'm a gamer, we game together. If we're going to spend our time, it's really great where the being able to be rewarded is a possibility. You shouldn't have to just be like a super good pro. Like you could just game and get some, get money for your time. And that's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, as we progress in the future, people are going to value their time more. And it's funny that you mentioned, the whole, the easy access. I actually have something I wanted to go ahead and bring up real quick. Let's see. Boom.
While you're finding it, I'm gonna do one more, and then I'll hand it over.
Okay. For sure.
This one. So the Energy Web and Parity Technologies are going to launch a new Energy Web consortia relay chain, which I think is for those that don't understand or know who Energy Web is. They're a company they're a project organization that's a nonprofit building operating system for decarbonized energy grids. And so as a Texan, how energy is used and transferred around, Judge, we were recently freezing in our houses about back in February. Energy and how it's being managed is extremely important, and being that most systems are based off of older technology, and there's a whole lot of duct tape putting everything together. Properly distributing energy is an incredibly important scenario, because one of the big arguments against blockchain, specifically like Bitcoin mining, is the energy consumption to do it, which is nonsensical in terms of the green energy that can be used to produce it, and plus the all the other benefits. It's just kind of a scare tactic, I think, from other financial interests to trying to push down blockchain. But with Energy Web, you're seeing the when people ask why crypto, why blockchain, I think Energy Web is one of those just like straight up, well, this is why. Because then we have organizations like this coming up and trying to help solve real world problems. Like when we interviewed the Jay Goldberg from Nodl, who's currently an active parachain looking for an auction spot. What they're doing with the Bluetooth technology, I think, is just so incredible, because of during that conversation, we talked about the client Simon's benefit, and then just the overall benefit of connecting like devices and different Bluetooth devices to the Polkadot network is actually really big. Because when we talk about how Web3 is going to touch our lives directly, how what's going to involve our devices. And so, like when we think about shopping and purchasing like groceries, if you have a IoT, Internet of Things, and you have a Bluetooth refrigerator that like then is connected to your wallet, and you're able to make those purchases without people knowing that you're buying chocolate milk again, like that's going to be one of those examples. Not that maybe Nodl does that directly, but using connecting devices via Bluetooth is is a really interesting development.
Definitely.
So as we just see these different things pop up, we're really seeing the grand vision of Dr. Gavin Wood and Robin Habermeyer and everybody that has been involved in developing Polkadot. This is what it is. This isn't, we're creating something that's going to have good price action. We all want that, but that's a result of creating really good technology that we trust.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and move your item. What you got for us?
All right. Well, speaking of ease of use, I would say, oh gosh, what's going on here?
Yeah, try that again. And I can share if you need to. Is this the subquery?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Okay, there we go. Cool, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Well, you brought up ease of use, and pretty much this is the easiest way to get Polkadot into the hands of people who might not know. Subquery has actually put out some stats on Polkadot gifting. For those who aren't aware, I think back in it's November, or maybe it was October, but pretty much Polkadot announced that you can now gift Polkadot to like family members, and pretty much you just set aside a certain amount and put it into an address, give your the gift receiver, the address, and follow the instructions, and bam, they have Dot. And it's a really super easy way to get your family, get your friends who might not be crypto savvy into something like Polkadot, because I think one of the most common things I've heard is, just that Polkadot, the UI on the web app is difficult, all this good stuff. The ease of use is not there yet. Well, things like this are definitely bringing that ease of use, I think, back to the people. And it's unfortunate because it doesn't look like obviously much was given. Only about 1,364.3 Polkadot were given out, and only 18 KSM, so Kusama coins. So I would like to see those numbers go up, because you see these numbers go up, I'm assuming it's going to be given to those people who aren't familiar with this. And if they have some money sitting in this in the blockchain, they're going to want to get it. And that's pretty much
it's a really good point.
Yeah, so it's pretty much how I, a similar way as I got into the crypto space. Someone gifted me a certain crypto, and I was like, well, it skyrocketed in value, and I was like, well, now I gotta have access, and so.
Oh, dude, that's my story too.
So it's this right here is actually, I think, an undervalued and underutilized way to help bring about adoption. So I just wanted to go over, and make people aware that this is an option. You can definitely, use this to get grandma into Polkadot. As a matter of fact, I'm doing it. I'm getting my grandma a Polkadot for Christmas. So
there you go. Yeah, that's a really interesting point too, because as you mentioned with you, someone gave you crypto. If someone gave you crypto, it ballooned in price, and then it suddenly got you, aha, I'm in. And I was similar with Bitcoin. Someone was paying me overseas, and to help get him headphones to give it to someone to take back overseas, and so I'll just pay you in Bitcoin. And I was like, oh, okay. First thing I need is probably a wallet. So I went and got a wallet, and then. It was Bitcoin was like back at 8K at that time, I think. So it's like just from $50 of Bitcoin to seeing it grow, and then making it easy, like just easy to like. Then I was like, oh, I had another person who said, oh, I'll just you can pay me Bitcoin you want. I'm like, oh, cool. And then I have this thing, and then like, oh, it grew, and I've kind of free money off of it, and so like from there, you just start going down the rabbit hole, and I think that's just important for people to understand is just like. This kind of donation to someone. I've done it with a recent friend with another crypto I had. I gave him a bit, and it ballooned, and he's like, okay, well, tell me more. It's like, well, no, you need to do your research. Like this is this whole idea that like, this is your financial, your financial growth. So it's just like a muscle. It's just like a sport or skill. You got to train yourself. So, no, that's really great, because in the end, that little bit, like, what's $50 of DOT to somebody that helps them then get financial independence 2 years down the road? Not from that $50, of course, because I think you got a long way ahead of waiting for $50 of DOT right now to be great. But like, if that means then they're starting like a dollar cost average buying strategy of buying a DOT, buying $50 a DOT every month on the same day, you will price out pretty well, and then it's a protection against inflation. Anybody in the world right now should be concerned about that word, regardless of governments, how things are being handled, whatever. Inflation's happening because we're in the middle of a pandemic. Like there's probably lots of other reasons impacting people's unique scenarios, but it's something that's important. So why would if money's going to be decreasing in price, why would you keep it in a savings account when really you could go and just start dollar cost average buying, done. Do it. I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice.
No, exactly. You bring up a great point, and it's you can lead a horse to water, or you can teach a man to fish, but you can give a man a fish, but if you teach him, he'll be able to eat forever. So that's pretty much the way that I've looked at it. I don't like to, even as someone who teaches or helps, I shouldn't say teach, helps understand, I guess, newer users coming into the crypto space. I try to give them as much information as possible in terms of like resources to know how to look for the information themselves. Because that's the biggest thing, is that this is so new. People don't even know how to look, yet alone where. They don't even know how. So
it's a really good
providing
point.
that resource to or not even provide it, just providing a foundation to know where to look and know how to look.
Like a trusted partner. Yeah, and anyone out there, if it's like you're new to crypto, thinking about it, or into it, and how to grow yourself. In the end, like, it's not that like, oh, it's only a certain type of people don't know about crypto or are not good at it. Everybody's new. I'm with my profession and my coworkers. Like, when I start talking to them about that, they immediately assume the top level things you always hear about. Oh, it's just like either the digital gold kind of explanation, or it's used by criminals to buy drugs. And you're like, okay, well, we're not even talking iceberg, because you're just talking about a snowflake on the iceberg of what it is. And so it's just this kind of journey, and it's nice to have like a trusted person there to be like, hey, this is how it kind of rolls. And so I would say to anybody, don't listen to any one online media personality about what to buy, because there's a whole market of people right now out there that are preying on that kind of situation. So do your own research, just like you would, look into buying anything. If you're going to buy a car, you'd buy a cell phone, you'd probably there's a number of things in mind that you want to look for. Do the same thing when it comes to crypto. You need to have good, trust your tech. And that's where all in on Polkadot and its kind of subsidiaries, because this is just the most groundbreaking tech out there.
Exactly. Decentralize your knowledge at the end of the day. Don't just get it from one source. Have multiple sources that you can at least verify or trust. So I definitely agree with that. You got to decentralize that knowledge. So
yeah. Well, Judge, this has been great. This is a great time. I'm so glad we got Brian on and hearing about his part of the world and what they're doing in terms of the Web3 supported Polkadot meetups, and his journey as an ambassador and just growing into blockchain. That was just really great to hear. We'll have to cut that up so we get nice little segments out so people can really understand how great the conversation is. But this is really great. So if those listening, stay tuned with Talk Polkadot. We like to provide as much information and awareness of the ecosystem as we can. So if you haven't subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and you want to talk about a project, contact us. Let's talk about a project.
Let's talk Polkadot.
Let's talk Polkadot. I think that's a good ending point. Everybody have a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, and we'll see you in the ecosystem. Cheers.